People think I'm absolutely nuts. And that's okay with me.
John Lear didn't mind when people attacked his wild stories. In fact, he reveled in it. He came to be known as the godfather of conspiracies, but anyone who was given a tour of his jam-packed den knew there was a lot more to Lear than tall tales.
And that's the secret base there.
Those walls were a museum of his life. Pictures with the famous and infamous, of planes he had flown, secret places and projects he'd investigated. Regret wasn't a word he was known to use.
Would you do it the same way?
Exactly the same way.
Determined to carve out his own path, Lear dove into aviation, becoming an accomplished pilot at a young age, eventually setting multiple world records in all manner of planes. His daredevil life came at a cost, serious injuries caused by plane crashes he shouldn't have survived. During the Vietnam era, he flew cargo planes for the CIA and continued to court danger by flying in and out of other hotspots. In the mid-'80s, he started hearing stories about a UFO cover-up and, not surprisingly, jumped in with both feet, making various media appearances to discuss his ideas.
The people are abducted, they're taken up into a saucer.
Good evening, this is John Lear.
In March 1989, he accompanied a small group to the outskirts of Area 51. 3 Wednesday nights in a row, they watched a glowing disc rise above the mountains over Papoose Dry Lake.
Did you see that move it did?
No, I didn't. I kept
The person who initiated the desert outing was a scientist who claimed he worked at Papoose on flying saucers. That scientist was interviewed live on television in May 1989 from Lear's driveway, a tale that spread around the world.
9 flying saucers, flying discs.
Later that year, the identity of Lear's friend was made public. Bob Lazar's claims put Area 51 on the map. In his later years, Lear's health declined. He could no longer fly, but continued to share stories about increasingly outrageous conspiracies. The crazy stories don't obscure what was an amazing life. To the end, Lear figured he'd be vindicated.
Believe me when I tell you, you may not find out in a month, a year, 5 years, or 10 years, but you'll look back at what I'm telling you now, and you'll say to yourself, my gosh, the son of a gun was right.
George Knapp.